Throughout the history of the NHL, there have been some unbelievable, unstoppable forces who have played the game. Heck, some of them are still playing in the league right now. Every team at one time or another has had their franchise player who has put their team on their back. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the all-time greatest player for all 32 NHL teams. The Anaheim Ducks, Teemu Selanne. Though drafted 10th overall in 1988 by the Winnipeg Jets, Selanne is synonymous with the Ducks. He played 3 seasons in Manitoba before being flipped at the trade deadline in 1996. Known as the Finnish Flash, Selanne is one of the greatest players in NHL history. After a Calder-winning rookie season with 76 goals in Winnipeg, Selanne went on to score 684 goals, including 2 50-goal seasons in his career. During the 1997-98 and 1998-99 seasons, he scored more than any other player in the league. Teemu Selanne, a 2007 Stanley Cup winner with the Ducks, is also a 10-time All-Star and winner of the Calder, Maurice Richard, and Bill Masterton Memorial Trophies. All-time in the NHL, he ranks 28th in career games played, 12th in goals, tied for 41st in assists, and 18th in points. The Arizona Coyotes, Shane Doan. Doan was a 7th overall pick in the 1995 NHL draft by the Winnipeg Jets. He spent his entire 21-season professional career playing with the Jets and Coyotes franchises. From 2003 to 2011, the winger led the team in scoring and was the longest-serving NHL captain up until his retirement in 2017. His number 19 was retired by the Coyotes before a game in which they hosted the Jets. The 2-time NHL All-Star won the King Clancy Memorial Trophy in the 2009-2010 season. Tallying up his numbers, Doan is tied for 17th in career games played with 1,540, tied for 105th in goals with 402, tied for 114th in assists with 570, and he ranks 104th in overall points with 972. While his stats aren't overly impressive, Doan was definitely the face of the franchise. The Boston Bruins, Bobby Orr. Inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1979, Bobby Orr revolutionized the blue line position with a mix of speed, scoring, and playmaking ability. He played 12 seasons in the NHL, all but 2 of them for the Boston Bruins. In both of his Stanley Cup championships, Orr scored the game-clinching goal and was named the playoff MVP. He is a 9-time All-Star, 8-time consecutive Norris Trophy winner, 3-time Hart winner, a 2-time Smythe winner, and is the only defenseman to win the Art Ross twice. On top of that, he also won the Calder Trophy in the 1966-67 season and the Lester B. Pearson Award in the 1974-75 season. Bobby Orr holds the record for most points with 139 and assists with 102 in a single season by an NHL defenseman. The Buffalo Sabres, Dominik Hasek. Now, Gilbert Perreault was the first ever draft selection of the Buffalo Sabres, and his NHL career spanned 17 seasons, all of them in Buffalo. He was the face of the franchise, a Calder and Lady Byng winner, and was one of the game's most electrifying dynamic players. However, with that being said, Dominik Hasek and his unorthodox but successful style was arguably the best goalie in NHL history. During the 1998-99 season, Dominik Hasek put the team on his back and carried the Sabres all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. In 8 full seasons with the Sabres, Hasek won the Vezina a staggering 6 times, the Hart and Jennings Trophy twice, and the Lester B. Pearson Award twice as well. He was the first goalie to win the Hart Trophy multiple times. To simply put it, when Hasek was on his game, no one was better at the position than he was. He is the only goalie to face the most shots per 60 minutes and have the highest save percentage in one season, doing it both in the 1996 and 1998 seasons with the Buffalo Sabres. Of all the goalies who have played more than 250 games, Hasek holds the highest career save percentage of all time with .922 and is first in the modern era in goals against average with a 2.20. The Calgary Flames, Jarome Iginla. The Calgary Flames have had some really good players, including Kent Nelson, Joe Mullen, Theo Fleury, and Joe Nieuwendyk. However, their best player ever has to be Jarome Iginla. Iginla was selected 11th overall by the Dallas Stars at the 1995 NHL Draft. The 2-time 50-goal scorer is the Flames' all-time leader in goals, points, and games played, and is one of only 7 players in the NHL to score 30 or more goals in 11 consecutive seasons. Born in Edmonton, Jarome Iginla is a 4-time All-Star and a 2-time Maurice Richard Trophy winner. He has also won the Clancy, the Lester B. Pearson Award, and the Art Ross Trophy. In the 2003-2004 season, the six-time NHL All-Star Iginla captained the Flames to the Stanley Cup Finals. He was also recognized with the Mark Messier Leadership Award for his community and charitable work. Throughout his entire NHL career, Iginla is tied for 15th in career games played with 1,554, tied in 16th in goals with 625, and ranks 68th in assists with 675, and 36th in points with 1,300. The Carolina Hurricanes, Eric Staal. Eric Staal was chosen by the Hurricanes with the second overall pick in the 2003 NHL Draft. He played his first 12 seasons with the Carolina Hurricanes, helping the franchise win its first ever Stanley Cup in 2006. Eric Staal led the Hurricanes in scoring 8 times from the 2005-2006 season through to the 2014-2015 season and represented Carolina at 4 NHL All-Star games. His streak of 349 consecutive games played between March 20th, 2004 and November 1st, 2009 was a record for the franchise during his time in Carolina. In January of 2010, Eric Staal replaced Rod Brind'Amour as team captain. Throughout his NHL career, Eric Staal played in 1,365 games, scored 455 goals, notched 608 assists for a total of 1,063 points. The Chicago Blackhawks, Stan Mikita. While Bobby Hull holds the Blackhawks record for most goals, Stan Mikita gets the nod for being their franchise best player. You can find statues of both these players just outside the Chicago Blackhawks home arena. Stan Mikita was generally regarded as the best centerman of the 1960s. In addition to winning the Stanley Cup in 1961, he won the Lester Patrick Trophy. He's a 2-time Hart Trophy winner, a 2-time Lady Byng Trophy winner, and a 4-time Art Ross Trophy winner. The 8-time All-Star is the only player in NHL history to win the Hart, Ross, and Lady Byng trophies in the same season, doing so in consecutive seasons in the 1966-67 season and the 1967-68 season. After a game in 1967 in which a shot tore a piece of his ear off, Mikita was one of the first NHL players to wear a helmet regularly on the ice. Thankfully, he was able to have a piece of his ear stitched back onto his head. League-wide, Stan Mikita ranks 40th all-time in games played with 1,396, 33rd in goals with 541, 19th in assists with 926, and 17th in points with 1,467. Mikita was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1983. The Colorado Avalanche, Joe Sakic. The Quebec Nordiques selected Joe Sakic with the 15th pick in the 1987 draft. He played his entire 21-year NHL career with the Nordiques and Avalanche franchises and holds just about every Avalanche record for offensive output, including most goals, assists, points, power play goals, and short-handed goals. His wrist shot was an absolute weapon, helping him hit the 50-goal mark twice and rack up 100 points 6 separate times throughout his career. Joe Sakic was a great captain and made everyone around him better. He was named to play in 13 All-Star games and is a 2-time Stanley Cup winner, winning in 1996 and then again in 2001. He is also a winner of the Lester B. Pearson Award, the Lady Byng, the Hart Trophy, and the Conn Smythe Trophy. Looking at his overall career, Sakic is tied for 45th in career games played with 1,378. He's tied in 16th in goals with 625. He ranks 13th in assists with 1,016 and 9th in overall points with 1,641. Joe Sakic was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2012. The Columbus Blue Jackets, Rick Nash. The Columbus Blue Jackets selected Rick Nash number 1 overall in the 2002 NHL Draft. Nash scored a goal in his NHL debut against the Chicago Blackhawks on October 10, 2002, becoming the 8th number 1 pick to score in his debut. He finished his rookie season with 17 goals and 39 points, which placed him 3rd for voting for the Calder Trophy, and he was named to the NHL All-Rookie team. In the 2003-2004 season, Rick Nash was awarded the Maurice "Rocket" Richard Trophy, but had to share that honor with Jarome Iginla and Ilya Kovalchuk as they all tied with 41 goals each. It did not take long for Nash to become one of the premier goal scorers in the league. He scored at least 30 goals 7 times in his first 9 seasons, including 5 in a row. In 2008, he scored the fastest goal in NHL All-Star Game history, which was 12 seconds in after the opening faceoff, and finished the game with a hat trick. After scoring 289 goals and 547 points in 674 games with the Blue Jackets, Nash was traded to the New York Rangers on July 20th, 2012. The Dallas Stars, Mike Modano. The Minnesota North Stars selected Mike Modano for the first overall pick in the 1988 NHL Draft. He played nearly his entire 21-year career for the organization, becoming the face of the franchise. When the move sent them to Dallas, Mike Modano was influential in popularizing the game of hockey in Texas. Modano holds the record for most points scored by a U.S.-born player with 1,374. He helped the Dallas Stars win the Stanley Cup in 1999, playing all 6 games of the finals against the Buffalo Sabres, despite having a broken bone in his wrist that was sustained in the second game of the series. Though Modano never won an individual award, he was a finalist for the Selke and Lady Byng trophies, and was always a true leader for the Stars. In league history, Mike Modano ranks 22nd in career games played with 1,499, 26th in goals with 561, 30th in assists with 813, and 26th in points with 1,374. Mike Modano was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2014. The Detroit Red Wings, Nicklas Lidstrom. The Red Wings have a number of sport-defining players in their history. Among them is Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey, Steve Yzerman, Nicklas Lidstrom, Ted Lindsay, Terry Sawchuk, and Pavel Datsyuk. Now, all these players played special games. However, Nicklas Lidstrom was clearly the Red Wings' best player ever. Lidstrom was drafted 53rd overall by the Red Wings in 1989 and quickly became a cornerstone of the team and a major key to much of their success. His list of accomplishments includes 4 Stanley Cups, a dozen NHL All-Star games, a remarkable 7 Norris trophies, the 2002 Conn Smythe Trophy, and a 1992 NHL All-Rookie selection. In addition to those accolades, he was the first European to captain a team to the Stanley Cup, the first European-born defenseman to reach 1,000 points, the first European-born Conn Smythe Trophy winner, and the first European-born Norris Trophy winner. Nicklas Lidstrom was one of the best players to ever play the game, let alone play for the Red Wings. Among all defensemen in NHL history, he ranks 6th in career games played with 1,564, 8th in goals with 264, 6th in assists with 878, and 6th in points with 1,142. Lidstrom was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2015. The Edmonton Oilers, Wayne Gretzky. He is a 15-time All-Star, 4-time Stanley Cup winner, 10-time Art Ross winner, 9-time Hart winner, 5-time Lady Byng winner, 5-time Lester B. Pearson winner, and 2-time Conn Smythe winner. The Great One had an instinctual way of anticipating where the puck was going to be and found a way to be there at the right time. He loved to set up behind his opponent's net, an area that became known as his office, where he was known to frustrate defensemen and goalies alike. Gretzky played 20 years in the NHL and is the only player to total over 200 points in one season, a feat he accomplished a remarkable 4 times. He tallied over 100 points in 16 professional seasons. Gretzky ranks 24th in career games played with 1,487, first in goals with 894, first in assists with 1,963, and first in points with 2,857. Gretzky has more assists than any other player has in total points. At the time of his retirement in 1999, Gretzky held a whopping 61 NHL records. His number 99 has been retired league-wide, and he is the only player to receive such an honor. Gretzky was, of course, inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1999. The Florida Panthers, Pavel Bure. While Roberto Luongo played 11 seasons with the Panthers and is often thought of as the face of that franchise, the nod here goes to Pavel Bure. Known as the Russian Rocket for his speed, Bure was actually drafted by the Vancouver Canucks in 1989 with the 113th pick. Pavel Bure was an overwhelming force in the 223 games he played for the Panthers, scoring 152 goals and 251 points. From 1999 to 2001, he tallied 117 goals, including 80 at even strength and 69 assists for 186 points in 156 games played. Simply put, Pavel Bure was the Panthers' offense, scoring 26% of the team's goals and getting a point on 42% on every goal the Panthers had. He took home the Rocket Richard Trophy in both of those seasons. While he may lack in the years of service for the Panthers, he more than made up for it with his elite level of play. The LA Kings, Marcel Dionne. The 5'9", 190-pound Marcel Dionne was chosen by the Detroit Red Wings with the second overall pick in the 1971 draft. In his first season with the Red Wings, he set the NHL record for scoring by a rookie with 77 points. After 4 years with the Red Wings, he was then traded to the Kings and became their franchise player. Dionne centered the famous Triple Crown line with wingers Charlie Simmer and Dave Taylor. In the 1979-80 season, Dionne tallied 137 points, tying Wayne Gretzky for top of the league, and won the Art Ross Trophy that year, besting the Great One by 2 goals. Marcel Dionne was a 4-time All-Star, 2-time winner of the Lady Byng Trophy and Lester B. Pearson Award. He is third in the NHL for most 100-plus point seasons with 8. He played 18 years in the NHL and ranks 52nd in career games played with 1,348. He is 6th in goals with 731, 11th in assists with 1,040, and 6th in points with 1,771. The Minnesota Wild, Marian Gaborik. While Mikko Koivu has longevity with the Wild, Marian Gaborik was the team's best player. The Wild selected him with the 3rd overall pick in the 2000 NHL draft. Throughout his career, Marian Gaborik was a 7-time 30-goal scorer, 5 of those seasons coming with the Wild. He's the Wild's all-time leading scorer in goals and is the franchise's only player to record 5 goals in one game, coming against the Rangers on December 20th, 2007. Marian Gaborik had 1,035 games played, 407 goals, 408 assists, with a total of 815 points. The Montreal Canadiens, Jean Beliveau. Now obviously the Montreal Canadiens have a rich history with amazing players like Maurice Richard, Henri Richard, Guy Lafleur, Patrick Roy, Jacques Plante, Ken Dryden, among many more. However, looking at all the players in Montreal history, we've landed on Jean Beliveau. Beliveau won a remarkable 10 Stanley Cups with the Habs and another 7 as an executive with the team. He was a 10-time All-Star, 2-time Hart Trophy winner, Art Ross winner, and the inaugural winner of the Conn Smythe Trophy as playoff MVP. When Beliveau retired after the 1970-71 season, he was the Canadiens' all-time leader in points, 2nd all-time in goals, and the NHL's all-time leading playoff scorer. He scored 507 times and had 712 assists for 1,219 points in 1,125 NHL regular season games. He was a high performer in the playoffs, collecting 79 goals and 97 assists for 176 points in 162 playoff games. The Nashville Predators, Pekka Rinne. Pekka Rinne was selected by the Predators in the 8th round in 2004 and spent his entire career with the Predators organization. The 6'5" goalie took over the Predators crease in 2008 and never let it go. Using a popular butterfly style, he played nearly 600 games during his 13-year NHL career. The 2-time All-Star was a Vezina finalist as the league's top goalie in the 2011, 2012, and 2015 season before finally capturing the award in the 2018 season with a sparkling 2.31 goals against average and a .927 save percentage. Rinne finished 4th in voting for the Hart Trophy in 2011. He played his entire 13-season NHL career with the Predators, retiring as their regular season leader in games with 683, in starts with 667, wins with 369, shutouts with 60. He was also a leader when it came to the goals against average with 2.43 and saves with 17,627, while sporting a .917 save percentage. Pekka Rinne also became the 12th NHL goalie to score a goal when he shot the puck from behind his own goal line into an empty net against the Chicago Blackhawks on January 9th, 2020. In 2021, Pekka Rinne won the King Clancy Memorial Trophy, given annually to the player who best exemplifies leadership qualities on and off the ice and has made a noteworthy humanitarian contribution in his community. Pekka Rinne had his number 35 retired by the Predators on February 24th, 2022. The New Jersey Devils, Martin Brodeur. Brodeur was taken with the 20th pick in the 1990 NHL draft by the Devils. He played all but one season of his 22-year NHL career with the Devils. In that time, the 10-time All-Star holds nearly every meaningful statistical record for a goaltender by the team and the entire league. Brodeur is is widely recognized as one of the greatest goalies of all time. He's won 3 Stanley Cups, 4 Vezinas, and 5 Jennings trophies. Brodeur played at least 70 games 12 times, including 10 seasons in a row in 18 of 20 full NHL seasons, all with the Devils. His remarkable 96-97 season, when his 1.88 goals against average was the lowest the NHL has seen in 25 years. He followed that up with a 1.89 in the 97-98 season. Martin Brodeur ranks first in games played with 1,266, first in total wins with 691, and first in shutouts with 125. Adding to his skill set, he is also a great puck handler, and he's the only goalie in NHL history to record 2 goals. His 113 playoff victories and 205 postseason games played rank second all-time to his boyhood idol, Patrick Waugh. However, his 24 postseason shutouts are the most all-time, which actually lands him one ahead of Patrick Waugh. Martin Brodeur was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2018. The New York Islanders' Mike Bossy. The 1980s was a glorious time to be an Islander. The team was stacked with talent, but the driving force behind them was Mike Bossy. He finished his career with a 1.5 points per game average and an eye-popping .76 goals per game average, the highest of any player in NHL history. Bossy was selected 15th overall in the 1977 NHL draft by the Islanders. He played every game of his 10-year career with them, scoring a remarkable 573 goals, including 9 consecutive 50-goal seasons. The 8-time All-Star won the Calder Trophy in his rookie season, the Lady Byng Trophy 3 times, and the Conn Smythe in 1982. Despite only playing 752 games, he ranks 22nd in goals with 573. He's tied for 124th in assists with 553, and he's tied in 61st in points with 1,126. Bossy was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1991. The New York Rangers' Brian Leetch. Brian Leetch was taken by the Rangers with the 9th overall pick in 1986. Coming out of Boston College, Leetch won the Calder Trophy in his rookie season with 71 points in 68 games. He helped the Rangers win the Stanley Cup in 1994 and received the Conn Smythe by posting 34 points in 23 playoff games, becoming the first American player to receive the award. Aside from winning the Norris Trophy twice, once in 1992 and again in 1997, Brian Leetch was almost always in consideration for it. He was in the top 11 in voting in 14 of the 18 seasons he played. Leetch is the Rangers' career assist leader with 741, and on top of that, he also won the Players' Player Award in each of his final 4 seasons on Broadway. This award has been given annually since 1959 to the player selected by his teammates who best exemplifies what it meant to be a team player. The Ottawa Senators' Erik Karlsson. While Daniel Alfredsson was the heart and soul of the Senators for an impressive 17 seasons, Erik Karlsson, on the other hand, was even more superior. The speedy, smooth-skating Karlsson was taken by the Sens 15th overall in the 2008 NHL draft. In his 9 seasons with the franchise, he simply was the team, averaging a workhorse load of 25 minutes and 58 seconds of ice time per game. During that time, he won the Norris Trophy twice and was runner-up twice as well. In the 2015-2016 season, Erik Karlsson broke the record for the most points with 82 in a season by a Swedish defenseman, previously set by Nicholas Lindstrom. He also finished in the top 5 in scoring, which made him the first blue liner to do so since Paul Coffey did in 1985-86. Erik Karlsson also led the league in assists, becoming the first defenseman to do so since Bobby Orr did in the 74-75 season. Erik Karlsson scored more than 70 points in 4 different seasons and is the second defenseman in NHL history to lead his team in scoring in 4 consecutive campaigns. The Philadelphia Flyers' Bobby Clarke. While a case could be made for Hall of Famers Bernie Parent and Eric Lindros, the best Flyer to date is Bobby Clarke. Clarke played his entire 15-year career with the Flyers, leading them to the playoffs in 13 of those seasons. His accolades include 2 Stanley Cups, 3 Hart trophies, plus the Lester B. Pearson, Masterton, and Selke awards. He had 3 100-point seasons, twice leading the league in assists, and played in 8 All-Star games. Bobby Clarke often centered Reggie Leach and Bill Barber, forming the LCB line. In the 1975-76 season, the trio scored 141 goals, a record for most goals by a single line. That year, he had a plus-minus rating of +83 while amassing 119 points, setting a personal best and franchise record for most points in a single season. The Pittsburgh Penguins, Mario Lemieux. Although his career was plagued by Hodgkin's lymphoma, tendonitis, and back issues that sidelined him for 513 regular season games, the list of his accomplishments is never ending. Drafted first overall by the Penguins in 1984, Mario Lemieux quickly made an impact. He scored 43 goals and 100 points in his rookie season, which won him the Calder Trophy. Lemieux led the Penguins to back-to-back Stanley Cups in 91 and 92, collecting the Conn Smythe Trophy in both years. He won the Lester B. Pearson Award as the most outstanding player voted by the players 4 times, the Hart Trophy 3 times, and the Art Ross Trophy 6 times. His .754 goals per game average for his career ranks second only to Mike Bossy. Mario Lemieux is the only player to score 1 goal in each of the 5 possible situations, being an even strength goal, a power play goal, a shorthanded goal, a penalty shot goal, and an empty net, and he did it all in a single NHL game. Among all NHL players, Mario Lemieux only played 915 games, but he still ranks 11th in goals with 690, 12th in assists with 1,033, and 8th in points with 1,723. The San Jose Sharks, Joe Thornton. Joe Thornton was acquired by San Jose on November 30th, 2005 in a trade from the Boston Bruins. The 6'4" center was in his 8th season with the Bruins, who selected him as the #1 pick in the 1997 NHL Draft. When he landed in San Jose, Thornton was an instant hit. He won the Art Ross Trophy as the NHL's top scorer in the 2005-2006 season when he had 125 points, becoming the first player to win the award after being traded during the season. Thornton also won the Hart Trophy as league MVP. He was the 11th player in NHL history to have 90 assists in a season and the first to do so while playing for 2 different teams. In the 2006-2007 season, Thornton had 92 assists and became the 3rd player in NHL history to have back-to-back 90 assist seasons. The following season, he had 67 assists to become the 3rd player to lead the NHL for 3 consecutive seasons. With a goal against the Phoenix Coyotes on April 8, 2011, Joe Thornton became the 78th NHL player to reach 1,000 points. He had his 11th consecutive 20-goal season in the 2010-2011 season. In the 2015-2016 season, Joe Thornton became the 7th NHL player in history who is 36 or older to have a 60-assist season. He ended up finishing tied for 4th in the NHL in scoring with 82 points and helped the Sharks reach the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time in franchise history. With 35 assists in the 2018-2019 season, Joe Thornton moved past Mario Lemieux, Marcel Dion, and Steve Yzerman into 8th place on the NHL all-time list with 1,065. Then, in the 2019-2020 season, Thornton had 24 assists and passed Adam Oates for 7th in NHL history with 1,089 assists. The Seattle Kraken, Jared McCann. A gifted two-way center, Jared McCann was selected by the Vancouver Canucks with the 24th pick in the 2014 NHL Draft. Fast forward to 2021, McCann was claimed by the Seattle Kraken from Toronto in the expansion draft. Through 159 games played with the newest team in the NHL, Jared McCann leads the team and the franchise with 69 goals and 92 points. Now, obviously, this is an overreaction as the team is only in its 3rd year, but hey, they're the only stats we have to go off, so Jared McCann is the Seattle Kraken's best player of all time. The St. Louis Blues, Brett Hull. Brett Hull played 11 seasons for the St. Louis Blues, scoring 527 goals and compiling 409 assists for 936 points in only 744 games played. With the Blues, he won the Lady Byng and Hart trophies as well as the Lester B. Pearson Award. He was also among the top 10 for these accolades several times during his time in St. Louis. In the 3-year span from 89 to 92, Brett Hull scored a mind-boggling 228 goals, the 2nd highest 3-season total of any player in NHL history, behind only Wayne Gretzky's 250 goals from the 81 to 84 seasons. Brett Hull's tally of 86 goals in the 1990-91 season is the 3rd highest for a single season in NHL history. He is one of the game's purest snipers and holds the franchise record for goals, including most game winners with 70 and most hat-tricks with 27. Over the course of his 19-year career, Brett Hull ranks 85th in games played with 1,269, 5th in goals with 741, 70th in assists with 650, and 25th in points with 1,391. Brett Hull was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2009. The Tampa Bay Lightning, Martin St. Louis. St. Louis, at only 5'8" and 180 pounds, was an underdog his entire life. The fact that he was undrafted speaks to his determination, competitive nature, and willingness to outwork anyone in his way, regardless of their size. Martin St. Louis played in 6 All-Star games and had his name etched into many awards. Aside from winning the Stanley Cup in 2004, he has 3 Lady Byng Memorial Trophies, a Lester B. Pearson Award, as well as a Hart Trophy and 2 Art Ross trophies. The second time he won the Art Ross, he was 37 years old, making him the oldest player to ever lead the league in scoring. After his 16-season career in the NHL, Martin St. Louis ranks 177th in games played with 1,134, 73rd in assists with 642, and is tied for 116th in goals scored with 391. Martin St. Louis was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2018. The Toronto Maple Leafs, Dave Keon. The Toronto Maple Leafs have 62 former players in the Hockey Hall of Fame. That is the most of any team in NHL history. So it goes without saying that a lot of players could have made this list. But when it comes down to it, Dave Keon is the all-time best player for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Dave Keon was a speedy defensive forward who was often asked to shut down the opponent's top center and was not only skilled in doing that, but he would do it without taking penalties and adding in some offense. In his first season, he won the Calder Trophy by putting up 20 goals and 45 points in the 1960-61 season. That was his first of 6 straight 20-goal seasons. Over the course of 15 seasons with the Toronto Maple Leafs, Dave Keon was the team's leading scorer for 3 seasons and the top goal scorer twice. He is a 4-time Stanley Cup champion with the Leafs and sits in the top 5 of nearly every major statistical category in franchise history. Though he scored 8 points in the 1967 Stanley Cup final, his stellar play neutralizing Jean Beliveau, making him the only Leaf to ever win the award. After 18 years in the NHL, Dave Keon is tied for 68th in games played with 1,296. He's 108th in goals scored with 396. He's 101st in assists with 590 and 99th in points with 986. Had Dave Keon not played a 4-year stint with the WHA in the middle of his NHL career, he would have been even higher in every category. Keon was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1986. The Vancouver Canucks, Henrik Sedin. While Pavel Bure, Trevor Linden, and Marcus Naslund were all iconic names for the franchise, playmaking extraordinaire Henrik Sedin and his identical twin Daniel came to symbolize the Vancouver Canucks. Selected by the Canucks with the number 3 pick in the 1999 NHL Draft, 1 pick after his twin, Henrik set the standard for NHL playmakers with league-high totals of 83, 75, and 67 assists, respectively from the 2009 season through to the 2012 season. In the 2009-2010 season, he won the Art Ross Trophy as the NHL's top scorer with 112 points and was voted the winner of the Hart Trophy as league MVP. Henrik Sedin was named the 13th captain in Canucks history on October 9th, 2010. After that, another stellar season followed when Henrik finished second on the Canucks behind Daniel with 94 points to help the Vancouver Canucks win the President's Trophy and advance to the Stanley Cup Finals, which they lost to the Boston Bruins in 7 games. During the Canucks' run to the final, Henrik led the league with 22 points and was second with 19 assists. On February 15, 2013, Henrik had 2 assists against the Dallas Stars, giving him 757 points in his career, surpassing Marcus Naslund for the most in Canucks history. On January 21, 2017, Henrik became the first Canucks player to reach 1,000 points in his NHL career. He was the 85th NHL player to reach that milestone, the 38th to do it with one team, and the 4th who was born in Sweden, joining Matt Sundin, Daniel Alfredsson, and Nicholas Lindstrom. Henrik and Daniel concluded their NHL careers on April 7, 2018. Henrik finished his last season with 50 points, giving him 1,070 points throughout his entire career. The Canucks retired both Henrik and Daniel's numbers on February 12, 2020, and they were both inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2022. The Vegas Golden Knights, Marc-Andre Fleury. For a franchise that's been around for less than a decade, the sample size for naming its best player is obviously very small. Viable options for the Golden Knights include William Karlsson and Jonathan Marchessault. However, there's one player that's been the face of the franchise well before the team even took the ice for the first time, and that player is Marc-Andre Fleury. Despite some injuries, Fleury backstopped the team to a Cinderella-like Stanley Cup run in the team's inaugural season. Fleury posted a 29-13-4 record in 46 games with a 2.24 goals against average, a .927 save percentage, and 4 shutouts, which was more than enough to earn him the Vezina Trophy that season. Yes, his time there was short-lived, but his veteran experience and leadership were a calming influence for a young team as they shattered record after record for an NHL expansion team. The Washington Capitals' Alexander Ovechkin. Though Mike Gartner had a tremendous career with the Capitals, scoring 397 goals and 392 assists in 758 games played, you have to pick Ovechkin as their best player of all time. Ovechkin is the franchise leader in goals, points, game-winning goals, and hat tricks. He is simply the greatest goal scorer of his generation, and at 38 years old, he's still tearing up the league. In 2018, Ovechkin led the Capitals to their first Stanley Cup championship in franchise history. He is a 12-time All-Star, 9-time Maurice Richard winner, 3-time Hart winner, and 3-time Lester B. Pearson winner. On top of that, he also has his name on the Art Ross, Conn Smythe, and Calder trophies. Ovechkin is currently challenging Wayne Gretzky's record for most goals in NHL history. He is currently ranked second in goals and hopefully has a few more seasons left in the tank so he can close that gap and break Wayne Gretzky's record. The Winnipeg Jets' Dale Hawerchuk. Taken by the Jets with the first overall pick in the 1981 NHL entry draft, Hawerchuk immediately became the face of the franchise for almost a decade. His Calder Trophy winning rookie season included 45 goals and 103 points, making him the youngest player in NHL history to reach 100 points. That season, he helped the team improve to a whopping 48 points from the year before. Spending 9 seasons with the Jets, Hawerchuk reached the 100-point plateau 6 times. His career best was the 1984-85 season when he scored 53 goals and 130 points. Overall, throughout his career, Hawerchuk is tied for 135th in games played with 1,188 and ranks 39th in goals with 518, 22nd in assists with 891, and 22nd in points with 1,409. Dale Hawerchuk was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2001. Thanks for watching our videos. Don't forget to leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button.